Stephen A. Smith continues to be loud, wrong, and completely out of touch.
I wish for one election that every black person would vote Republican.
He tries to act like he's a middle-of-the-road American speaking for black people.
And you're acting like you're speaking on behalf of the larger group of black people, acting like you're knowledgeable about these things that you're towing for the right, and you're just not.
Whenever he really starts talking, he immediately leans pro-conservative, pro-MAGA.
The Republicans know they'll never get our vote, so they don't give a damn about us.
And now, given this administration's attack against black America, he's actually telling black people to vote against their own interests, which is so crazy, especially at a time when Republicans, when MAGA, when this Trump administration is doing everything in its power to hurt marginalized communities.
Since 1965, all federal contractors have been banned by executive order from discriminating on the basis of race, sexual orientation, gender identity, or national origin. Donald Trump rescinded that 1965 rule on his first full day in office. Make America great again, right?
But I'm Jew. Welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub. Now, let's get into it.
I wish for one election that every black person would vote Republican. What? How can you say that? I said, it's simple. Since 1964, the black people, black folks, we have been giving our vote to the Democratic Party at an exorbitant rate. Therefore, they know they got our vote, and they don't have to cater to us as much as we need them to.
For context of what he's saying, there was an ideological switch between Republicans and Democrats where they basically switched positions, ideologies, policies, all of that, which started during the 1930s and finalized during the Civil Rights era. So when black people en masse and the working class started moving toward the Democratic Party because they were providing policies that supported black people, the Dixiecrats, the Southern races, Confederate states moved away from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party. And ever since that time, Republicans have been violently against black people getting civil rights, getting voting rights, making any progress in America. So when he says something like ever since 1964, black people have been voting Democrat, it's because the Republican Party was violently against the black community. So any of those old black and white videos from the civil rights era that you see white people hitting, spitting on, yelling at black people, protesting, marching, walking into schools to integrate for the first time, the beatings, the lynchings, the murders that happened, those were done by Republicans who were against black people getting rights in this country. And all of that became even more clear when you had people like Nixon who used the Southern strategy to gain power by basically dog whistling to racists and Confederates that he aligned with their vision for America and was anti the black community. Black people haven't just voted Democrat for this long for no reason. It's because how the Republican Party, how those Confederate states acted toward the black community.
The Republicans know they'll never get our vote, so they don't give a damn about us. And as a result, we're the only community in America devoid of representation, which is why we're considered disenfranchised.
Now, to be fair, there is truth to what he's saying about black people, black policies, black concerns not being at the forefront or prioritized by the Democratic Party as much as they have prioritized immigrants or immigrant issues and concerns, for instance. Which, to look at that as a black person, is a slap in the face because we are the most loyal voting bloc for the Democratic Party, and our concerns should be prioritized. So what Stephen A. is saying in a vacuum isn't the craziest thing. However, we do not live in a vacuum. We currently live under a racist, white supremacist Trump administration who is doing everything in their power to roll back the clock to a pre-civil rights Jim Crow era for black people in this country.
When Trump and his top political donor, Elon Musk, then started just lopping off huge swaths of the federal government to disastrous practical effect. Reporter Erica Green wrote about this a few months ago for The Times, noting that nothing had moved backwards in the federal government for black Americans this quickly or this far in over 100 years. Since Woodrow Wilson came in 1912 and resegregated the federal workforce. Black employees were fired or demoted to lower-level jobs, relegated to separate and inferior lunchrooms and other facilities, and accused of making white women feel unsafe.
So every black person in this country right now voting Republican would do nothing to empower or enfranchise black people. If anything, we will be giving the rest of our power, the rest of our voice, and our rights away because this white supremacist MAGA version of the Republican Party wants us completely subservient to white America without any rights, without any power. So what he's saying is not only ignorant right now, it's absolutely dangerous for the black community, not only today, but for our kids and our kids' kids and our entire future in this country.
I'm tired of that. What I want is to put ourselves as a community in a position where both parties have to work to get our vote.
Can I ask you this? Do you think you covering politics like you cover politics, in the words of your mans, is that good for business, your business?
It has the potential not to be. We'll have to see. So far it is. I think I'm doing pretty good. So far it is, but it has the potential not to be. But here's the point. Cam, if I thought like that, I'd never be here.
Politics is not sports, and Stephen A. hasn't recognized that yet. There are, 30 teams in the NBA, 32 teams in the NFL. He can say something wrong, explosive, vitriolic against one team or one player on the team or a star player in one league, and it not be that big of a deal because a portion of another fan base is going to agree with him. However, when it comes to politics, when it comes to a time like right now, where it definitely feels like we're in civil rights 2.0, fighting for the right to survive, for us to have rights, for our children, for our kids to have more rights than us, not less rights, to have rights, for us to leave this country better than we received it as a community. This whole middle of the road, tightrope, fence walking that he's always done when it's come to sports will not work in politics, especially not now when things are way too polarized. Even within the parties, you have a whole MAGA civil war going on with Trump's core MAGA against Nick Fuentes and America First and Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro, and all of them going at each other nonstop.
That fragmentation is being caused purposefully by a splinter faction of people led by a young man named Nick Fuentes. They are white supremacists. They hate women, Jews, Hindus, brown people of a wide variety of backgrounds, blacks, America's foreign policy.
Whoa, you're giving me like Bill Maher, Rachel Maddow. What is this? I thought Shapiro was against SJWs. Now he sounds like one of them.
So him walking that tightrope and trying to please everybody just will not work in a time like right now, especially when his true colors show, when we know he's a Trump fanboy.
In an uproar off the Epstein list, that's all you've got? It's really, really surprising that this matters. Of course, I think there's a list, but I don't know. I suspect, but I have no knowledge, nor do I care. It's Friday night. I'm getting ready to go out and enjoy myself. I'm getting ready to have a nice weekend. I could give a damn about the client list, the Epstein client list. This has no effect on me whatsoever. I'm like, really? That's why you upset at Trump? I didn't blame Trump one bit.
And he's been telling people to stay out of Trump's way and leave him alone, and he deserves his revenge.
But you know he's coming. And you know part of the reason why is to get back at everybody who tried to take him down. They didn't try to keep him out of the White House and that was it. They tried to throw him in prison. The man is coming.
When he's platforming Uncle Ruckus's raccoons like Anton Daniels to brainwash his audience into being black Republicans in a time like this.
You decided to support Trump in 2024. What was it about the MAGA movement that made you support it?
Well, the first thing is I felt like the election was stolen from him in 2020.
This is not going to work in politics.
There's plenty of decisions over the years I could have made that would have been good for business. But I had the courage to tackle the issues that I felt passionate enough to attack. That's what makes me me.
Just think about this. This man has said way more negative things about LeBron James. He's hated on LeBron James more than he's had anything negative to say about Trump.
That man put his hands on me, I would have immediately swung on. I don't like his not a little bit. You do not understand the links this man would go to. This dates back more than a decade. I believe he's one way publicly, he's another way privately.
Do you know how ignorant you have to sound to get called stupid by Cam Newton? Cam Newton didn't exactly call him stupid, but that definitely seemed like the energy behind the question. And again, in context, right? This is the party that he wants us to give our voice, our support, and our power to. Just outright overt racist. Jen Higgins says that she agrees that Hakeem Jeffries has cotton-picking hands. They're not even hiding it anymore because they don't have to. This administration, this party has fully embraced racism.
If Hakeem Jeffries wants to be involved in Virginia politics, then I suggest he does what a bunch of New Yorkers are doing. Leave New York, move down here to Virginia, run for office down here. You can represent us. If not, get your cotton-picking hands off of Virginia.
That's right. Ditto, yes.
That would have been a great time for a person that's not racist or doesn't believe in racism and discrimination to say, I don't agree with that. Cotton picking hands is too far, but I understand your sentiment. Anything like that. No pushback. She laughed and went with it because that's what all of them believe and feel about black people. Why would we support them? Oh, they're getting bold. They are. They've been emboldened by Trump since his first election. First, they gutted the Voting Rights Act. Now they're using brazenly racist language to attack black leaders. Jen Higgins should immediately immediately apologize and resign. Neither one of those are gonna happen. The Donald Trump administration is waging war against black Americans, and this clown is telling black people we should vote for the Republican Party. The Republican Party does not believe in black representation. They are criminalizing in black history, taking away the right to vote. Over 1.2 million black people lost their jobs thanks to Trump. The police can kill you and the Justice Department will not investigate. White people are openly racially abusing black people. No condemnation. This man is a clown. And because I already know I'm gonna get comments about the Democratic plantation, Democrats founded the KKK, all of that nonsense I always get whenever I talk about politics, whenever I criticize Republicans. Garrison Hayes addressed that.
Never forget that your favorite black history heroes were all Republicans. But stay on that Democratic plantation if you want to. Okay, one day we'll fully unpack the anti-black assumptions behind phrases like the Democratic plantation. But for now, let's talk about black Republicans. You're right, some of the greatest black history figures from the 19th and early 20th century were Republicans. People like Ida B. Wells, Frederick Douglass, George Washington Gales were all committed, if not proud, members of the Republican Party. But what you conveniently omit is that black Republicans of the 1800s and early 1900s were some of the most progressive political figures of their time. American affirmative action, for example, a race-conscious solution to race-conscious problems, was created by a black Republican, Arthur Allen Fletcher. The legal and legislative framework for tax-funded public school education, a radically progressive idea in the 1860s and 1870s, was spearheaded by black Republicans. The foundational civil rights of the 14th and 15th Amendments were, shocker, only made possible because of black Republicans. But in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, the GOP took a deliberate hard turn away from black folks, and today every single one of the institutions I just named are being destroyed with the cooperation of black Republicans. You see, in the early days, black Republicans worked on policies that were popular in the black community. Imagine that. Because back then, black Republicans were elected by black people in black districts. Imagine that. Today, however, black Republicans are singularly elected in majority white districts, a fact they seem to be very proud of.
If I'm not mistaken, the South Carolina is majority white, correct? Yes. My district is majority white district.
You don't represent popular policy in the black community. The bottom line, to quote Zora Neale Hurston, is that not all skin folk are kinfolk.
With the main takeaway being the Republican Party that aligned with black people from the 1800s is not the Republican Party of today or the last 80 years who are primarily against the black community now. Ebro actually gave pushback to Stephen A's push for all black people to vote Republican.
It's mad because I said he's dancing, he's soft shoeing for the right. That's ultimately what I said. And I said, and I said he should be embarrassed. I think I may have even said he should have been embarrassed. He texted Rosenberg and I on the side. He took issue with me saying that. He was like, I know you, that's offensive. And it is offensive. I'll give you that. It is. But you're on a public platform and you're soft shoeing for the right. That is, and you're acting like you're speaking on behalf of the larger group of black people all the time. And you're actually acting like you're knowledgeable about these things that you're towing for the right, and you're just not.
It's not a good look primarily for who's in power right now and the negative things they're doing to the black community, to black people's rights, to purposely disenfranchise black people. So once again, Stephen A. Smith has come off tone deaf and completely out of touch with the black community. He's basically being used as a Trojan horse to get the Republican Party inside the black community to try to sway more votes to their side, even though they're currently trying to destroy the black community. And really, if he's not gonna be honest about his political leanings or give real context about the things he's saying, then he should sit this one out and go back to talking about sports. But shout out to my channel members. Thank you so much for supporting and thanks for watching. Y'all let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Also, make sure you check out the next video and don't forget to follow me on Instagram for behind the scenes and life stuff, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.